I'm Lopa here, and today we are going to talk about how you guys are totally overthinking and over mixing colors, and as a result of that, you are creating muddy and dull colors. Now, watch in my palette how I'm going to mix all these colors. I'll show you the techniques and how to implement those techniques in an actual painting. So now what I'm doing is that I'm taking a little bit of Hansa yellow that is kind of a lemony yellow, and also a little bit of cadmium yellow, which is a little bit opaque, and mixing both together. And now I'm taking some orange. It is Pyrrole Scarlet from Daniel Smith, and I am applying it directly onto my paper. Although I do have my palette and an extra white palette with me, I'm not mixing these colors on the palette because I want this juicy, vibrant kind of feeling to be in there when I paint something. Right now, look at my palette. What I have done is that I have took some burnt sienna and then I mixed them in the same palette or the same box that I made earlier. Right at this moment, I'm also taking a little bit of ultramarine and mixing on the same pull and directly applying it on to the paper. Now watch this thing. Whenever I am taking some color and putting directly on the paper, what is happening here is that the colors are having their own qualities, own juiciness, own vibrantness, and having that it is also mixing with other colors, and so they are keeping their own qualities but also getting some other qualities from the other colors. Even with the shadow that I'm painting right now, it's ultramarine, mostly a little bit of burnt sienna, but due to this process of mixing the same colors on the same pull again and again, I'm creating a little bit of what we call is color harmony. So color harmony is one thing that makes your painting cohesive, and it will look better in the bigger picture in general. Right now, I'm even going a little bit farther and mixing neutral tint or kind of a blackish color with ultramarine on the same pull, and trying to push the shadow a little bit more onto the dark side so that it gives the formation of the object or the shape of the object. Now, I'll show you how to demonstrate the same technique onto a real painting. So, I'm taking this very simple pear. You can sketch it very easily. It's not that complicated, and I am using the same colors and same color mixing method into this pear. Right now I am taking the mix of Hansa yellow and cadmium yellow, and with that mix and a lot of water, I'm trying to create a this watery, not watery, but tea kind of consistency here. And then I am directly putting that into the shadow side. And in the lighter part of the pear, I'm gradually mixing more water so that I can keep the highlights intact when I want. So one side will be darker and one side will be lighter. Look at how I'm trying to push the colors, not very quickly, but layer by layer. And also I am picking the lightest color, that is yellow, and then only I'm picking a little bit of darker color, that is orange or Pyrrole Scarlet mixed into yellow. Now, if you go ahead and put darker colors first, in watercolor, it is very hard to find the highlights and shadows like that, because in watercolor, we go from light to dark. Obviously, there are other nuances to this, but right now in this painting, we are focusing on that process. And see how I have cleaned my brush with clear water, and then I wiped it on my tissue and picking a little bit of color from the pear so that I can have that paper white kind of highlights there. To do this lifting technique nicely, you have to wipe your brush real clean, and it should be very thirsty kind of brush, so that it can directly pick the water from the paper easily. Don't forget to wipe your brush in the middle. Even in this video you will see how much I'll wipe my brush, I'll clean my brush, because whenever I paint, I am right handed, but in my left hand I always keep a tissue paper, so that I can, whenever I need, I can wipe my brush right away. And this is a very important habit you should create, because if you don't clean your brush that well, then you are going to mix all the colors here and there, and you won't be having any control over your colors and water too. Right now I'm mixing burnt sienna to the colors that we already had, and I'm trying to find the shadows with the burnt sienna. Look how I'm trying to create a little bit of weird shape, because pears are kind of like that, right? So you'll see me how I will use this color mix to make the formation of the pear. At this point, my paper is not completely wet, it is damp, so I do have some kind of control where to put my colors. So, the main thing about water control is that you need to understand the wetness or the water level of uh, your paper, and also how much water your brush is holding. If any of these things are mismatched, then you will lose the control over your painting. So, it will not come very easily to you, but with practice, it will come. So, most of the beginners normally they have this kind of problem of water control. So what you need to do is that uh, take your paper, take your brush, and experiment a lot with different subjects. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece kind of a painting, just a little color mixing, just a little object like an apple, like a banana. You can use those tricks and tips that you learn and implement that there. Look at the pear right now, because what I'm doing is that I'm done with my lighter layers or colors, and I'm going a little bit deeper. Now, one thing here is very important, and that is I see a lot of people really afraid to pick colors from their palette or from their tubes. They are very afraid that they will lose control, or they might be it will become very dark. But normally that doesn't happen, because what watercolor dries very light. So if you put a little bit of uh, darker shade and you think that you might be making it too darker, it's normally not true in most of the instances. So load your brush with pigment that is not very light. It doesn't have to be always. Sometimes in the first layers things can be lighter, but in the later layers, when you have to create depth and shadows, you have to you have to take some really nice thick load of pigment. Right now I'm showing and demonstrating exactly that thing. When I put this nice, juicy, and dark color onto my pear, the formation of this object is looking a little bit realistic, and also the roundness or the 3D-ness of the pear is really coming out. Now, I'm with ultramarine blue, I'm trying to make a little more depth in that formation, because well, I want to push the shadows to make the pear look more realistic, and that is why I'm saying that don't be afraid to pick a lot of pigment onto your brush, because it is actually needed. And also at this moment, my paper is getting drier and drier, so I am having much more control. And whenever I am feeling like I need a highlight kind of thing, I'm wiping my brush and just picking up some colors from where I feel the need. Sometimes I do mistakes at this point, but I don't worry about that because uh, just the way you can lift colors, you can also put colors. The main thing that is very important is knowing the wetness of your paper exactly. Now what I'm doing is that with a little bit of darker color, I'm putting details onto the light or highlighted kind of side too, because although it is highlighted, it is light, there will still be some kind of shadows, a little bit of details here and there, and those things will bring out the real beauty of an object that you paint. Right now in my palette, I do have some burnt sienna, burnt umber, and a little bit of ultramarine. I'm mixing these colors to make the shadow beneath the object or the background. So I'm also trying to mix a little bit of violet here because violet is the complementary color to yellow. So I in the same mix I am putting ultramarine blue, violet, burnt sienna, burnt umber, but I'm trying to push this shadow color more into violety. Now people normally think that for shadows or to give the depth, you just need to put complementary color. That is not true, because although you need to put complementary color, you have to know how much you have to mix and what are the other auxiliary colors that will help you make this shadow colors actually related to the object. So whenever you do that, don't directly put violet color for the shadows of a yellow object, but mix it with other colors and make it cohesive. So that is the main thing that I'm trying to teach you today, how to make this juicy and vibrant colors. Now look at this. Right now what I'm trying to do is that I'm darkening the shadow a little bit, and I'm putting a little bit of more depth. Somewhere I'm just lifting because shadows are not all same darkness, so I'm trying to find that sweet spot here. And also I'm not caring about how the shadow colors are slowly seeping into the pear itself. You can see that some of the colors are merging with the yellow color, and it is creating a soft edge. If you like this video, then do subscribe to my channel. If you are from Instagram, then a very warm welcome to you. And if you want to learn techniques like this, then I have a course ready for you. It's called Watercolor Foundation course. I will put the link in the description box below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.